Hi, I'm Aaron with TUO Gear, and we are on the forefront of getting ready for elk season. And what I want to do today is when I think about elk season, as I pack my bag, I want to take you through my journey as I get prepared for the elk season in September. So as I think about considerations for elk season, I think about September, which is typically the core time which archery hunter is going to be out there. And when you think about elk season in September, there's pretty much good predictability, but here is what I do know. So you have early mornings that can be very cool, you have evenings that are cool, and then during the midday and the sun, it can be very warm in the mountains. And occasionally you get some inclement weather as well, which we'll cover today. So as I break down what you take to the woods, I really think about this in a next to skin perspective. In other words, what's going to be on my body and next to my skin. And then I think about the +1 pieces, which are the pieces I want to add to my body for thermal regulation, wind blocking, staying warm, etc. And then finally, I'm going to talk about the shells. So very inclement situations, what I do to keep protected and warm. So I'm going to start with the 150 hoodie. This is brand new for 2025 with TUO Gear. This is the 150 hoodie. So 150 in layperson's terms means very lightweight. Most of the time people expect merino for cold conditions. That's historically what people think about merino. However, I'm telling you, it's a great warm weather solution. What's great about this is the stretch and mobility. Everything we do in TUO Gear has great stretch, so it's going to move with your body. The other thing that's amazing, it is 17.5 micron on the interior. What that means is it's smooth and buttery on the skin, so it's going to be comfortable all day long. And I tell you what, a lot of people do hoods. Not all people do hoods correctly. This hood is amazing on the 150 kinetic hoodie. It moves with your head, so you have no issue with peripheral vision. You can look, and I like this especially for concealment purposes. Also, when you think about that midday sun or that late morning sun beating down, you get really good sun protection. You keep sun off your face for concealment, but you also keep sun off your face from a cooling perspective. So this is just an all-round great hoodie. It's my favorite. I'll probably spend most of the time, and I will definitely slot it mostly when it's really warm, depending on where I'm at in September, what the weather conditions are doing. If this isn't quite enough thermal value, I'm going to step up to the 250 kinetic hoodie. So the 250 kinetic hoodie, really the main difference is the thermal weight. So this is going to be a little heavier. So if I think about cooler mornings, I'm going to really spend a lot of time on the 250. Granted, you can take this during the middle of the day because just like the 150 hoodie, naturally merino has great thermal regulation. What thermal regulation means is that in cool mornings or peak sun of the day or cool evenings, the merino is always acclimating to your skin, so you don't have that cooling effect like a polyester on your skin. It's always naturally very stable with your body temperature. So the 250 hoodie also has a great concealment piece to it as well. Between the 150 hoodie and the 250 hoodie, that's what I'm going to be wearing on the top all the time. So to complement the top strategy with the next to skin on the bottom, this is the kinetic 150 zip off bottom. So it's probably a piece that I'm not sure I'm going to use, but it's going to be in my bag. So important things about the 150, super lightweight, comfortable, great mobility. So you think about lifting your knee, this is going to move with you and create no friction. The other great thing I love about the 150 zip off is it zips off. So literally you can drop your pants and zip these down from the centers, from the side zip right here, and not have to take off your mountain boots, your pants. You can rip them off. So occasionally, as you know, an elk hunter being out in their September, you can face some cooler weather. It's a nice +1 piece to have in your bag in case conditions deserve you actually putting on some more on the bottom. So again, merino and all the natural antimicrobial functions with the kinetic series. Merino, naturally antimicrobial. So I tell people that I can wear this for 7 to 10 days. It will stand up because you've been wearing it so long before it will ever stink. And that, again, is with merino. It's just a great solution to make sure you naturally keep down the stink on your body. So next, I'm going to move into my favorite pant in our assortment. It is the climb pant. So you think about probably the hammer if you will, that you take to the woods, it's definitely the pant that you're gonna spend a lot of time on. It's gonna take the most abuse of anything you have on your body. You could be jumping over a deadfall, you could be getting on your knees, you could be leaning against a tree, and the Climb pant is just an amazing pant. I would tell you this is a light to mid-weight pant. So there's a lot of features here to cover, but the most important one is stretch and mobility. So you think about this garment and your pant, look at that stretch function. So the stretch is delivered through the fabrication. So stretch is great because it provides mobility. You couple that with articulation in the knees, you get a great movement. So every time you're humping up a mountain, you're lifting your leg, inherently, you're creating friction. Friction creates fatigue. So the better you can complement a pattern design with a stretch fabric, you get unbelievable mobility. You never worry about getting down, getting up. You're very athletic feeling. So not only do you have mobility, but you have good durability. So you think about those situations I mentioned, being on your knees, jumping over a deadfall. This is a tough fabric. So it's a polyester fabric. It's tough. It will actually stand up to a lot of abuse in the field. We have great pocketing systems. So you have a top dump pocket, you have good cargo pockets, you might put a pair of gloves in there, you might put an extra call in there. And then one of my favorite features, one of my favorite bar none, is these side vent zips. So one of the things I think is very important is not building up moisture in your body. So when you think about early morning, you're getting out of the truck, you have headlamp on, and you're busting butt down the trail, you're walking fast. And what I always like to do is I like to keep these side vent zips open, because what you don't want to do is accumulate moisture. So the better you can allow heat to escape your body, the drier you will be, and you won't be in a wet out situation when finally you're your spot, you hear bugles, the sun's just starting to get up, and man, I'm cold because I'm wet. So again, those side vent zips are great. And not to forget, we also have a knife holder here. So, you know, you can have a knife there at all times when you need it. So the Climb pant definitely is a favorite, and it will be my go-to pant for my whole hunt. So next, I'm going to move into those +1 pieces, which are the thermal pieces that you put on to create a little bit more protection on the body. I'll tell you what, talk about life-changing. This is the Aptitude soft shell vest, and I never leave home without it, especially elk hunting. So the situation I'd use this in is early mornings. I would put this over my 150 kinetic hoodie we talked about, or our 250 hoodie. And what's important about this is a soft shell. So inherently, I'm gonna never forget to tell you the mobility story. So great stretch, so it's gonna be very comfortable against your body. And the main reason you'd wear this is it is 100% windproof. So you think about keeping your core body temperature warm. The nice thing about the soft shell, it blocks the wind. It has a grid back fleece, which is great next to your body. It keeps you warm. And again, just like I talked about the Climb pant, what's very important is to moderate temperature. So I may start off going down the trail and I may have it zip down when I start getting warm to allow moisture and heat to get away. And then when I get to my spot, you think about, you hump it all the way in the dark, you get to where you want to go, you start calling, and then it's like, man, I'm kind of getting chilly, well, I'll zip it up. And then of course, midday, I will take this, and it works really great. You fold it like this, you roll it up like this, stick it in your backpack, and then the next time I'm going to see it is probably later that evening. So it's great protection all the way around, definitely a piece you want to take to the elk woods. Now, staying in that same zone about, I don't quite have enough on my bottom to actually stay warm. This is the Clement Puffy jacket. So what's great about the Clement Puffy jacket, it's that piece that's like, man, it's really windy this morning, it's cold. So it has insulation, it's got 80 in the body and 40 in the arms, which gives you good thermal regulation. It's our Paralite insulation, which is a very great technology to keep you warm. And the nice part about it is the thermal protection to the weight. So thermal protection's here, and physical weight of the garment is really light, which means it's very packable. So just like, you know, soft shell vest, I put this in my backpack, roll it up. It actually stuffs into its pocket as well, which you can use as a pillow. If you're spike camping, it's a great piece. So it's got high wind resistance to it, a very slick fabric, if you will, if you're doing any additional layering, which we'll talk about later, and just a great thermal on-demand piece. So that really is my mid-layer solution. So if we transition into shell, which means, hey, it's a very protective piece, I'm gonna move into the Ballistic Storm jacket, and we also have the pant. So the Ballistic Storm inherently means think about high winds, think about rain, think about sleet, think about snow. This is a four-wheel drive as it relates to keeping you warm, dry, and protected. The nice thing about rain gear, and I've worn a lot of it, is it's very hard to find any rain gear that's huntable. What I mean by that is quiet enough, and most importantly is mobility. We've been the first ones in the industry, TUO Gear, to bring stretch and mobility into rain gear. So if you absolutely had a chance to put this on, you'll look at the stretch in this garment, and it has really good stretch to it. This stretch is important because you think as an archery hunter, you have to have mobility and movement, and you don't want things pulling at your arm when you're drawing your bow. Or if you have the pant on, you think about that same sensation of walking and moving and lifting your knee. It's actually a great performer. So number one, Ballistic Storm Shell. Impermeable to water, so all the rain, snow protection you need. Secondly, it's 100% windproof, which means that driving wind on a cool morning or you're getting a squall, it's going to keep you warm and protected. It has nice pocket features on the jacket. And then what I want to talk about on the pant's impressive because when you think about one of the most difficult things that one has to consider when it's going to rain or starts raining is, I got to put my rain pants on. What we've done with the Ballistic Storm pant is we have a great zipper. It goes all the way up to the hip. What that means to you as a hunter is you don't have to unlace your 8, 10, or 12-inch boots. You can actually slip these on over your boot to get them on, because most of the time you're like, man, it's such a pain. Do I really want to do it? I'm telling you, keeping dry in the woods is important. So we try to eliminate getting these on easily, and more importantly, getting them off easily. So, you know, I guess lastly, I mentioned it, but the Ballistic Storm Shell, I will tell you, in all my experience, it's been very difficult to find a rainwear piece that you can actually hunt in. Most of the time when it starts raining, you're like, okay, I'm putting on my rain gear. I'm not gonna be able to go out and hunt because I just can't move. It's too noisy. You can actually hunt in this as well. So I won't probably always take the pant to the woods, but I will always take the jacket. I'll roll it up, put it in my backpack. So those on-demand times, in other words, man, it looked great out today. There was a little hint of thunderstorms or some snow. I will put it in there because keeping your top dry is very important. So definitely check out the Ballistic Storm Shell jacket and pant, and you'll love it. So just to summarize this conversation, when you make considerations of what you're going to take to the elk woods, again, it's very simple. Think about next to skin, the Merino Solutions, our Climb pant. Think about those +1 pieces. I need to add some thermal value. We covered that. And last to the shell. And these complement each other. I call the toolkit. I don't call the system. You don't have to have them all. But this is what we'll all pack in a single bag and give you all the extended performance you need in September. The last thing, and I think it's very important to me, is that one of the things that hunters deal with is, what camo do I take to the woods? Personally, I'm a solids and camo mixing guy. So many times I'll wear camo on the top, I'll wear solids on the bottom. And I want to briefly mention Verse Camo. Verse inherently is the name we came up with. And Verse has very specific meaning, is that I didn't want you as a consumer to consternate over, hey, am I going to be above alpine? Am I going to be in the alpines? Am I going to be subalpine? Where many others will make you choose a specific camo for those situations. I'm telling you, Verse looks great if you're above tree line, if you're right in the trees, or if you're below the trees, or heck, if you're on the prairies and sagebrush chasing, you know, elk in different kind of conditions. Verse Camo is a super effective pattern and will eliminate that decision that you have to concentrate over, and we make it simple. So it fits in a bag, you have camo, you have a toolkit that'll really take you all the way through September. So thanks for taking the journey with me. I hope this simplified, I would say, something that's very easy for me, but very difficult for consumers to think about, of what you take to be effective in the month of September. And with any luck, I hope you hear a big screaming elk, and I hope you're safe and you have a great trip this fall.